This video is for people who are interested in learning product design. So there's a book I got on product design. It's a very good book. The name of the book is The Design of Everyday Things. And from reading the book is going to kind of like open your eyes, to how to think like a designer. It's not really a practical book in the sense that you really learn how to design stuff like with your hands or using software or sketching. But it teaches you how you should be thinking as a designer. You understand? That's the most important part. So looking at the book, I read the first and the second chapter of the book, and the man talked about the evolution of design. He talks about how people used to design back then and how people used to design now. Before we go into that, product design is actually very important because without product design, there's no technology. Everything that man has made that has a use or solves a problem has been made. Either it's a table or a television or a bed or a cupboard or a door, anything artificial in the world. Even a cave, safe. If the cave was made by man, right? You have a mountain and people dig or break the mountain and create caves. That's also technology. That's also a product. You understand? So anything artificial, anything that has been made, anything that has use, anything that is artificial, anything that has been made by man and has use is a product or technology. So product design is just designing that technology itself. So the book talks about the evolution of products, how product design went from one to the other. It talks about the different types of, or I'll call it the different focuses of design and the new focus of design that we have to adopt if we are going to actually progress with product design. So he talks about industrial design. He said that this is a type of design, but the focus of the design is to make it easier for the manufacturers and the producers of the products, for the industrial manufacturers of the products in the industry. Then he talked about interaction design, which is the next one, and it's a design that has to do with how people use the product. Then he also talked about user experience design, and the focus of user experience design, as he has explained in the book, is to focuses on how the product make its users feel. And he talks about last type of design of or basically design category is human centered design. And when you read the book, the man is actually championing human centered design. His argument is this: if we are going to move forward with design, we have to make the design human centered. His whole philosophy is, if a product has been made and that product, you know, is there are some issues in the product, you understand? The problem is not the user, it's actually the product. So it takes the opposite approach. Usually when manufacturers, designers, when they make this big, this technology itself, some of them create manuals, like a washing machine, for example. Now it has its manuals. We have TVs which have their manuals. All of these technologies have their manuals. You understand? So his argument is technology should be intuitive, like people should see it and understand it, how to use it from seeing it. And designing, designing otherwise, like designing not to fit that, not to fit this idea that people should see it and understand how to use it intuitively, is actually the main problem when it comes to design. So what he's saying is human-centered design focuses on humans. So as a designer, so his whole philosophy of design is that design should be made with the user in mind. The technology should we should not be slaves to the technology. Technology should be slaves to us, or the technology should fit us. So that's the old concept of human-centered design. And he believes that if a product is made and the product is difficult to use, even if they put all the instructions in the manual or whatever, that's actually bad design. You understand? Because number one, nobody reads those stuff. Even if they do, they seldomly like they just read it a little bit. And so, people that design, they should understand this and they should make their products, easy to use, and how to use it should be apparent, it should be clear. People should see the product and know how to use it. So that's the whole concept of his book. So the man champions human-centered design, and he says, it's not that interaction design, user experience design. It's not that the process of design is different. It's just the focus of the design. You understand? Who is designer putting in mind? At first, designers kept in mind the manufacturers because they'll be like, oh, okay, we're creating this product. These guys are going to make this product. Let's design this product in a way that these guys can actually understand how to create it. So he's saying, the end users, the end of the product, or the last people in line for manufacturer to use, actually the user. So you have to make the product fit the user. You understand? Those are the most simple. So that's the idea of human-centered design. And he also talked about, so I've mentioned the part where he talked about, so designers right now, right, should not just be technologists, because he mentioned this problem with people that are technological or highly logical. They create all this technology and they build these manuals and they complain that, oh, we made this stuff, we don't, why is it that you don't understand? Those guys forget that they've gone through a long process of logical discipline, understanding that technology and how to use it. Most of humanity have not. So in general, people are not going to really change their behavior like that. And it's very difficult to change. Most of our behavior are a result of human evolution, years and millennia of human evolution. So it's more difficult to try to change human behavior instead to design the technology to fit humans. So trying to change human behavior to fit the technology is futile. You have to actually design the technology to fit the users that are going to use the technology. So that's the whole point of human-centered design. And the last part he mentioned was that the real problem with design moving forward is the more complex the problem is, right? The more complex design is going to be. That the real, struggle of designers from now moving on to the future is how can they design a complex product in the most simplest way. So if you look at airplanes now, like the pilot's dashboard in airplanes, you can look at those and be like, oh, okay, it's not clear on how to use that. The pilots have gone through a lot of training, years of training to understand how to use it. Any other average person that has not gone through that training can look at that, the design where all this and not be able to fly a plane. So what he's trying to say is progress when it comes to design, right, will be a point at which things like that can be designed in the most simple way that an average person can actually look at that and have a sense of how this works and how that works. So it's a very good book. The word book again is Design of Everyday Things. If you start as a product designer, it's a very good place to start. It doesn't teach you actual technical skills, it just teaches you how to think like a product designer. So get the book.